episode 2 already, Phil. How you doing today?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to get amped up. I'm ready to get through this.
You excited?
Oh man, you know it.
The latest news was their Tom Cable hire, the cable guy.
Cable guy.
Let's do a little rundown. I want to get into him. Get Raider Nation off the ledge a little bit. Because they're about to jump.
Okay, so one thing with Tom Cable, a lot of people feel that it's just going to be strictly zone blocking with him. He's not the pure 100% I'm going to ride with it. You may see some things, mostly inside zone, but he loves to run some gaps. And I noticed in the 2015-2016 season, he was starting to implicate power runs. So we're not going to be seeing the typical zone blocking from out of Tom Cable. We're going to be seeing a lot of mixtures. So that's a good feeling right there. So I know a lot of people in the Raider Nation were just like, oh my God, we're going back to zone blocking. It's the end of the world. No. Everybody was triggered. Look, I'm telling you this. You walk by any Raider fan, you say zone blocking, they're going to have a stroke.
And half of them wouldn't be able to tell you what zone blocking is.
Yeah, and everybody thinks the main thing when you think of zone blocking, I mean coming from like a former offensive lineman, it's not always outside runs.
Right, it's inside zone, outside zones. You don't have to run the stretch play, you know what I mean, to do zone blocking properly.
Yeah, because you can run in between the tackles. You can still manage to do that. It's just a little pause in between. You might see a little bit more of the draw,
right? Not as much pulling,
inside delay runs. So with John Gruden, if you remember, he loves running the inside. All right, he loves smash mouth. Tom Cable still loves smash mouth. So we're going to be all right. He's working with one of the best offensive line in the NFL.
And that's not to say that he can't run power either. He's been coaching for 30 years. Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
he's been a coach for 30 years, so he knows, and he teaches the way depending on the players. If Gruden tells him to run power, he'll teach him power. I think, and Gruden hired him because he has experience. He knows how to get the best out of the players.
Yeah, he's a good motivator too.
Yeah, there's a reason he was promoted to head coach, right? Under Al Davis, he did pretty well. So
yeah, man, he'll light a fire under them. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, remember when he knocked out his assistant coach? Well,
whatever.
Allegedly.
Did you hear what his wife went into Wikipedia and deleted all the allegations against him from his Wikipedia page? That was funny. But I don't care. It's the Raiders, man. As long as you get the results, and nothing's been proven, has it? No. So
I mean, sometimes you got to learn to forgive, give people second chances.
He's an older guy now. He'll be all right. Yeah. I like it.
I mean, like right away. I mean, you think of Tom Cable. How do you think the guy O-line's going to react? I mean. What do you think? What do you really think's running through their minds right now?
They like him. They don't. That's been a while ago. They don't care. They probably don't even know. They probably like his energy. He knows a lot. If you're a player, right? You come into if you're an O-lineman, you come into the coach's room, and if he has knowledge, he can answer all of your questions and tell you why you need to do it. Instead of just what to do, he'll get a lot of respect. I don't think all these guys that Gruden's bringing in is going to get respect. So I think he'll be fine.
We also hired another coach, a wide receiver coach. You got that list right there?
I got the list. Let me run it down, and you can expand on whatever you want to do. All right. So let's start with so for the Raider Nation, a couple days ago, I got a push notification. We all did. From the Raiders app, they finally hired all the assistant coaches for every position, except quarterback, but we'll get to that later.
You mean cornerback?
No, quarterback. There is no quarterback coach.
Quarterback. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Jamal Singleton, running backs coach. He's with his first season with the Raiders, third season in the NFL. Spent the last 2 seasons as the Colts running back coach. He did a pretty good job. Even though he's new to the NFL, he's coming from the college level, and he helped what's his face Frank Gore run 1,300 yards at an old running back age of 34. So
I mean, basically he's had Frank Gore for 2 seasons. He's had Frank Gore that back in 2016 hit 1,000 yards, or over 1,000 yards, and then you had last season where he was about to hit 1,000 yards again. He was only 10 yards short.
Right. So
for you to get a lot out of an old guy like that, that says a lot. I know he's a straight discipline guy. Guy came out of Air Force. I know he also went and coached Air Force running backs, and then coached the running backs at Oklahoma State and Arkansas, where he had a big bull rushing running back in Alex Collins, who's just tearing it up in the NFL. I wish
he's been good for Baltimore.
I mean, Seattle had him. They let go of him. And look what he's doing now. I wish we held on. I wish we had drafted him.
Hey, he's in Baltimore, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish we had drafted him. Kid would have been tearing it up.
It's all right. This year's draft, running back draft class is pretty deep. We'll be all right. I think we could pick up a starter, second round, third round. Second round is probably where most of them go, but we'll save that for later. Next guy, Frank Smith. Joins the Raiders after spending the past 3 seasons as the tight ends coach of the Chicago Bears. He began his NFL career with the Saints as an offensive assistant and offensive line coach, so he can definitely teach them how to block. And I think he came in also because John Gruden, he did an interview with I had an interview last week where he was talking about his desire to get tight ends who can block. So it makes sense. As Frank Smith was an O-line coach before, he can teach the blocking. What do you think?
Well, it's not even that. Look at what he got out of Zach Miller in Chicago. Zach Miller was on to having a career season until he had that devastating injury.
Right.
I pray he gets well. I pray that he may get another second chance of being able to play football again. But the man gets the best out of you. What he did with New Orleans offensive line was excellent. I know during that time, that offensive line was just kind of up and down. But, dude, this guy used to block for Ben Roethlisberger at Miami, Ohio. So he's a brawler. He's a brawler. Boy. I like that. So I think we're going to get the best. If you want the best out of your players, you got to get the best coaches.
Yeah, the head coach can't only do so much. He'll figure out when to practice, who to let go, but you got to develop a coach is nothing without his assistants. And you look at Mike Holmgren in Green Bay when he coached the Packers. One of the main reasons he was so successful because of his assistants. He had Mariucci, he had John Gruden, he had what's his face? John Gruden was the wide receivers coach. You had Andy Reid as a QB coach. Look at all his assistants are head coaches now. So you gotta have good assistants to be successful. And everyone's raving about his assistants. I like it. A couple of guys are new, so it also tells me that he's not just
but another
going back and getting his old people.
Not even that, because John Gruden actually came from the Paul Hackett system. I had a talk with Anthony Dorsett a couple weeks back, former Oakland Raider.
Right.
And we were talking back when he was playing at Pitt. John Gruden was there as the wide receiver coach. And if you remember Paul Hackett, whoo, that's taking it back old school.
Mm-hmm.
But the man has learned from the best. And when you learn from the best, you want to be the best. So the best of 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 the best.
There we go. Next guy, wide receiver coach, Edgar Bennett. He was in the NFL. He's been with the Packers for the last 13 years. So his first year with the Raiders, he's been a part of the Packers coaching staff. He served 3 seasons as the team's offensive coordinator from 2015 to 2017. After spending 3 seasons at Green Bay's wide receiver coach, and he also played 8 seasons as a running back in the NFL. Now, first thing that jumps out to me is that he was promoted to offensive coordinator. You don't get promoted to offensive coordinator if you're not a good position coach. So obviously he did wonders with the receivers in the 3 years he was as the receiver coach in Green Bay.
Look who the receivers were for Green Bay.
And he developed Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, and James Jones.
Right.
So you look at that, you're like, and you go back and look at him having the running backs for the Green Bay Packers. You know, Green Bay Packers always had like these random guys. You're like, who is this? Who is that?
Yeah.
And he's gotten the best out of them.
I like that pick.
This man's in Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's in Florida State's Athletic Hall of Fame.
And I like it that he's been a coordinator before, so he sees the big picture as well. He's excelled at his position, not like I don't want to beat a dead horse, but Todd Downey's never been a offensive coordinator. So
man had the best 2 seasons in '95 and '96 for the Green Bay Packers.
Didn't they win in '96?
I think it was '95.
Oh yeah, well he was there with Favre. Remember that game?
Yeah. Yo, this man had about what? Yeah.
You think we hire a QB coach now? I'm not surprised they didn't hire a QB coach because when you got Greg Olsen, he's a QB coach, and he's not going to be doing what a regular offensive coordinator does, drawing up plays, getting his playbook, designing schemes. That's all Gruden. And you don't want too many guys in Carr's ear telling him this and that. I think...
I don't think it's going to be like that. I mean, you still want to have a quarterback coach because you got to remember, you still have your other quarterbacks under him. So right now, the only quarterback that's under him is technically Connor Cook because E.J. Manuel is a free agent.
I don't think he comes back.
He may come back, or do you draft another quarterback, or you pay attention to the rookie quarterbacks that are out there? Excuse me, the free agent quarterback. My apologies.
Is there anyone out there who knows Gruden's system that's a veteran free agent?
You gotta look, man. That was a long time ago. Most of these kids are Thundercats.
Yeah, at least familiar with the West Coast offense, but the terminology. But I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't matter. But he might bring in a veteran guy.
I mean,
But I see what you're saying. Bring in a quarterback coach for the backups.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still gotta have that. I mean, you still want to work with them, but get somebody else decent. And the last thing I heard about if they were going to bring a quarterback coach in, they were looking at Pep Hamilton.
Yes.
And now Pep Hamilton, if you remember, guy was at Stanford, had Andrew Luck, got the best out of Andrew Luck.
Right. And
then when he went to the Colts, became Andrew Luck's quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. Their offense was rolling, but
he's a good QB coach.
He was actually, in my opinion, he was a good offensive coordinator as well. It was just Grigsby not taking care of the offensive line.
You talking about Michigan or the Colts?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Colts.
Okay.
The offensive line was horrendous, and
he still is.
In my opinion, he was the scapegoat.
You know who? There's another name. Jeff Garcia reached out to Gruden. He wanted to come in and actually, because he wants to get into the coaching career. He reached out to Gruden and said he could work with the young guys, the young quarterbacks. So he's really interested. They might add somebody. He might be an option as well. I don't know. Because Jeff Garcia played under him with the Bucks.
Yeah.